Okay, in this video we're going to be showing you what these parameters are for the X, Z, and R axes. These are pretty straightforward and simple. These are just related to the back gauge, and for instance, this very first one here is going to be the X-axis position. Okay, X1 axis position. Okay, this one you could set basically where the finger is going to be. And in this particular case, it's set with this mode. It's going to be exactly at the number that you have here. It does not have a bend deduction included. Okay, and these others you'll see will. Okay. Most common one is we're using this one because we're typically programming offline, or we're programming in profile mode. Those will select my X-axis position exactly how we need to, and I don't have to worry about this. So that's what this one is, X-axis position. Next one is delta X. You can see a little DX right there. It stands for delta X. That's for our Y or X2 finger basically. If you need to offset it differently from the first finger, in case you need to gauge unusually at an angled part or something like that, you have a good bit of movement on the delta X. And basically this is a relative position from 0. Okay, so if it's at 0, it's going to be equal to what X1 is. Okay, if you put any number, be a minus or positive, it will be offset from 0 by that number. Okay. Again, this is typically programmed remote offline, so it's not something you typically go directly unless you're doing maybe a little correction. But that's what this one does. So let's go to the next one. Okay, this next one is the height of the fingers, or R axis. Okay, so input R axis position. This is real straightforward. It's a relative position from the top of the tool. Okay, so the machine knows what lower tool you have. So when you're at 0, the finger, the bottom of the finger is lined up with the top of the tool. Okay, top of the die on the bottom. So this makes this axis easy to understand. So if I put in a number, if it's positive or negative, it'll be that much off of 0. Again, this is one that's almost always programmed with either the EC profiler or offline. It's not one you adjust too much yourself. Okay, that's what that one's for. Okay, this first one here is the Z1. That is going to be the position from the far left side. So far left is 0. You can see it on the scale of your clamp. And then from there over is this distance. Okay, and that's for Z1. And of course you get the same thing for Z2. You don't have to worry about putting these too close and crashing into each other. The software always keeps a minimum distance between the two. If it's going to be too close, it'll warn you and tell you we're going to put it where we feel is best. Okay, so it'll try to get as close as you can. You can get them pretty close, but don't worry about crashing them. The system will take care of that. Okay, this next one is our retract. Basically, it's a relative distance from the current X position on how far back the back gauge moves once the bend starts. So with this retract, the machine will go down to the pinch point, clamp the part, and then it'll retract the distance that's input here. And then once it's fully retracted, then the bend will go through its cycle. Okay, so that's the retract. This next one here is how we're gauging on the back gauge. Okay, you can see here on our back gauge we have 3D fingers on this particular machine. So we have a front edge here, we have another edge here, and we have another edge back there. So actually we have 4 different gauging spots here. So, and that's what this is actually doing for us. Basically the first one is up on that front edge of that finger. Okay, and then let me see, let me actually zoom this up so you can see it a little better. Okay. All right, so you can see those fingers a little better. So this first one is gauging from this front face here. Okay. This second one is gauging from inside this mittening point here, between there, and you can see it saying it's 394 thousandths farther in from this surface. So that's what that's indicating. Okay, and the next step is going to be registering off this step right here on top of that face, on top of this shelf. Okay, that's what this one's for. Okay, and this one here, you can see what I just did. I clicked on that and automatically corrected my finger position. So this last one that I selected is basically using this mittening point where it's stitching on this edge and this edge. Okay, so that's a nice way to select the types of gauging you're going to be doing. Okay, as you can see, it corrects for you. Very handy, very slick, very easy to use. You don't have to do any math in your head. The system does it for you. Okay. Also, real quick on this same page, besides these parameters, there's, you know, we can go through the different steps that we have programmed, but you can also go here to add a step, add another set of parameters that you can run for another bend. And when I hit this, you'll see this one where I want to insert this next step at this spot at the end, or choose a step. Okay. And then this one here is used to delete a step. Okay, that one I just added, I can get rid of it. Okay, so when you do add a step here, mind you, it's going to copy the last step that you had. Okay, it'll take those values exactly from wherever you place it from the one previous is what it's going to copy over, and then you go in and change those parameters. And those are pretty much all our bending parameters. There may be more if you have additional options, and in the future we'll do some more videos on those specific options. But for typical bending, we just covered all the parameters that you'll be covering or needing to know. Okay, and that's it for this video, so thanks.